good afternoon, good night. How you doing? This is MCM and you're listening to You're Probably Right. Today we are going to have a serious conversation. Well, maybe not a serious conversation, but there's going to be a serious talk happening here. Now, of course, I'm only doing the talking, but just stay tuned. I can't seem to help. It's like you cast a spell. I'll keep loving you. You don't love me too. But I won't cry it. I'll just sing a lullaby. You moved on already. I know I gotta stay strong. You said that you love me forever, but I guess that's gone. And I can't seem to hide all this pain that I feel inside. But that's okay, I'll just sing a lullaby. Listen, I can't seem to help. No. Oh, it's like you cast a spell. Can't believe we're through. You win and you lose. But I won't cry, I'll just sing a lullaby. Listen. You moved on already and I know I gotta stay strong. You said that you love me forever, but I guess that's gone. And I can't seem to hide all this pain that I feel inside. But that's okay, I'll sing a lullaby. Hey y'all, what's up? This is MCM and you're listening to You're Probably Right. Food edition. I'm just joking. But here's your opportunity. Hopefully you're not hungry right now. But I'm going to do a podcast where I'm eating a little bread. And it's literally bread. So hopefully you're not hungry. And I'm sure it's not going to entice you. I think my voice is... or my mouth is big enough to be able to speak and eat at the same time, where it probably makes me sound a little bit cooler, except for the little chuck. Welcome to episode 188. Still got 12 more to go. I don't know if I talked about it on here, but if I haven't, or if I have, you better go back and check it out to see if I did or I didn't. If that makes any sense to you. But we're going to 200 to do something special, and hopefully it all works out. It's not necessarily saying that episode 200 is going to be any more special than any other episode. So I'm not doing it, razzle dazzle, jumping off a cliff or something. It's just a milestone for the podcast. That's all. Podcast that didn't know it was going to go past 30. So I'll give you 3 seconds to go and find something to eat while I chill out with everybody else. That's weird, right? Not really. Hey Google, turn the lights out. What? Hey Google, turn the lights off. That's better. Okay. So remember, this podcast is for entertainment purposes only. A lot of time I'm just on here saying stuff, but in reality, I don't want to necessarily insult or make anybody feel bad when they're listening to this podcast. This podcast is for entertainment purposes only. And remember that most of my views, because some of them are just strictly mine, I guess, I don't have a Bible in front of me, so that's why I say that even if I'm close to a scripture, or if I'm close to saying something that a scripture says, at the end of the day, I'm just me just talking, and it's not like I have a Bible pulled open, ready to reference anything that I possibly say at any time. So understand that I am a professing Christian, but that's it. I'm not a professing professor of any subject or discipline. I'm just me. Anyhow, welcome to episode 188, as I said before. You're probably right. Today we are digging into life's uncertainties, the shrinking pool of genuine connection and societal confusion that leave us questioning not just ourselves, but the culture we're supposed to represent. No one is promised tomorrow, yet people act like they've got it all the time in the world. From young adults in their 20s to those of us approaching our 50s and beyond, the search for meaningful relationships and standing up for what you believe in seems harder than ever. To kick off, let me tell you a little story about my experience today in Kijiji. Just trying to buy a simple shaver and a blade. So, I guess it started a little while ago. I've been wanting to get this new shaver. Actually, my son said he did. And I was like, cool, let's see what you're going to get. I mean, I gave him the one he has now, but he still uses my other ones. And I used to be like not a shaver head. That's kind of funny. But yeah, I guess a shaver head. Where I wanted all the professional stuff. Anything I saw in the barbershops, or maybe even Barbershop, the movie, and I know that it could, it's just one of those little tweaks that might make you just that little better of a barber, or you might get that cleaner of a cut or whatever. So I would buy everything. So personally, I had my eye on, as he was saying that he wanted to get a new shaver, I had my eye on the fast feed, the cordless one. Now, the joke with this one is that it's blue, and it's just the same thing as the regular cordless, or I guess corded, also fast feeds. Has the same motor, the pivot motor. But the difference is the box. The box has a big horse on it. As I said, it's blue, not burgundy or whatever that weird purpley burgundy-ish color that they put on the genuine old school fast feed, which I've had now, I think two or three in my lifetime. 3. Or maybe it's only 2. I've just used to cut my own hair, and from 13, I've always said I had different shavers to try back then, of course. And I got the ones that they'd sell in the department store, and maybe because I thought it was the Hudson's Bay Company or Eaton's, Winners, wherever I thought I was getting the good ones, but just to find out that I need to go to specialty stores. Anyhow, long story. But our Andis outliner that I have, outliner 2, with the T-blade on it, decided to start popping and making weird noises. I had modified it previously so that it was cut for air. People who cut hair know about that. And it was working good, pretty good. Apparently, not that good, because my son said one side was slanted, which I had no clue it was. So maybe I've been giving slanted lineups all this time. But I also have a detailer. That was like one of those clippers where I didn't really care about it. It was small, and I just liked the way it looked, and it was also outliner. I thought I could get sharper cuts than my outliner, but of course it didn't. I also tried to sharpen it myself on a stone. Didn't work out. Made it all lopsided, and I didn't really care because I had the outliner still. So moving right along, the outliner got burnt out, and I wanted to go back to this one. Of course, the blade is slanted because of my sharpening skills, and yada yada yada. This week we decided to both kick in just $25 each. Imagine that, to get a new blade, just brand new blade, aftermarket. And then but also I saw this shaver that I wanted to get, of course, the blue fast feed, which I said has the horse on it. It says for animals, but it's the exact same thing as the human one. And they charge another $30 for it. It's possible that it has more of a powerful motor, but I don't think it does. And barbers online who say they used it says it's the exact same thing, so I believe them. Anyhow, I correspond with this dude. Of course, at the time, I didn't think it was.
To be content.
Uh-oh, hold on. I had a nice correspondence with the guy just to find out that it doesn't work. Which I find funny but disheartening at the same time, because I really wanted to be able to cut my kids' hair nicely with this thing, maybe nicer than ever, you know? But it turns out that was something else. Anyway, so he's selling it. $100. New Oster professional fast feed. Cordless pet clippers. Blue. Right? It says $100. 3 weeks ago. Never used. Original box. Retails for $249, which it does, and sometimes $279. So I was like, oh yeah, $100 for sure. So here's my little correspondence with this dude, and I tried to be as polite as possible when I don't even know if I sound like myself on Kijiji or not. Oh, are these? Uh-oh. I would like to. Oh, how do you like them apples? It looks like he might have even erased the conversation. Yep. If serious, send your number. Yeah, he erased the conversation. Ooh, now it makes me really want to report this dude. As said, it is funny though. Yeah. Nice guy, Parker. New Oster professional fast feed. Says he's in Toronto here. So here's my message. Anyway, it was posted for $100. I say to him, hi, would you take 80? He says, yes. If serious, send your number and I can text you the details. Where are you located in Toronto? I said, I live in, yeah. Go ahead and send me the details. The number is I've just given him my phone number. He's taken his off there and he's probably blocked me on his regular thing. But let's see. Maybe we did text and that's where all the information of this conversation probably goes down. There you go. Yeah, there was more of a conversation. Okay, so he didn't delete nothing. Oh, that's messed up. Anyhow, he goes, and I might get into some other stuff too today. It's just, this stuff's just interesting to me. Hello, regarding clippers, we are in blank and blank area. Oh, so I said, this is how okay, so I'll tell you when it's me talking, and I guess sometimes it sounds ridiculous, but whatever. As I said, it's the different episode. I didn't even tell you it's a different episode. It is. I got bread in my hand, trying to read off my phone. And this might be one of those episodes. I mean, it's semi green, I guess. Semi-green. Semi-evergreen. Okay, so he says we're the area that he's in. I said, are you a person or are you a store or a private person? What the heck that means, but whatever. That's what I said. We are a private person. So I guess he's two people. I see that there's an animal on the box, because this is when I don't really know that much about it. And of course, I did all my YouTubing and watching videos on it after this. But I knew I liked it, and I've bought a animal shaver before, or quote unquote animal shaver before, and they work just as good, if not better. So I say, I see that there is an animal on the box of this one. Is it a lot different from the purple one? Because it seems like this is for animals, but I know that some clippers, even though they say they're for animals, they're interchangeable with people. Now, I think at this point I actually already watched a video on it. I just wanted to see if he knew, because this is all with, price and negotiation and blah blah blah. He goes, I assume so. The box is the box of the item has never been used. Okay, so whatever. I say, okay. You're a little bit far, because I checked out his area where he lives from his postal code. Let me do a little research. If you still have it, I will contact you between today and tomorrow if it's available for pickup. Do you anticipate being in Scarborough, Pickering, Markham, those type areas this weekend? He says, actually, I work in Scarborough by blank blank mall. I could easily meet you there, station, or depending on the time, blah 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 blah. I said, okay, this weekend you're going to that area? He says, nope, next weekend. So in a week, he texted me yesterday and goes, hey, do you still want the clippers? I'm like, yes. Let's see. He says, I'll be at blank blank mall if it works for you, or you can come by my work. I work at blank 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 blank. I said, sure, I can come take a look. I took off, not working tomorrow. So anyway, I said, give me a time. He says, but I am usually there around 10 and blah 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 blah. I said, okay, I'll text you tomorrow. Thank you. He says, thanks. I say, I'm on my way. He says, okay. He says, text this. He says, you can e-transfer here. He says, hope it's okay. I said, I don't want to e-transfer. I hope it's okay if I just pay you cash. I took it out already. I said, I'm outside, and then I waited. He says, thank you. I said, I'm outside. I tell them car I'm driving, blah, blah, blah. And he comes, maybe comes down out of this big, huge building, 10 minutes later. Somehow I got the feeling now that he probably wasn't in the building. He just kind of came through a side door or something. Or maybe not. Maybe he really did sell me something that was, as far as he knew, in good condition. I mean, it looked like and seemed like it was open for the first time, but technically you could turn it on without removing any of the wrappers, really. So, and when I got it, it was fully charged, and it doesn't work. So I bought two things. I bought the blade for the detailer, wall detailer, and I bought the whole fast feed cordless, and it doesn't work either. So I got kind of messed up in two areas. Kind of crazy. But I will say that hasn't happened to me very often, if ever. Like, I literally don't, I don't know why people say literally. I honestly don't know of another time that this happened. And I was telling my kids, I said, well, you live and learn. It turns into a story. You know what I mean? It's something that happened. So, it is what it is. I think it's a funny story. It's like, why would you do that really to somebody? You don't know my life. You don't know my reasoning to buy the shaver. Maybe I had to shave somebody who had cancer's head, or maybe I can't afford regular haircuts or haircuts for my kid or whatever it is, and therefore I'm buying the shaver, and it's, you know, $80 is $80. Now I understand that when I was purchasing it, I thought this was a little bit too good to be true because I know what they're worth. And then when I was looking on places like Facebook Marketplace, it was a lot more expensive. I mean, taking it out of the package is brand spankingly clean new. He hasn't used this thing. If it is original or whether or not he actually bought a piece of plastic with bricks inside because it's done on a 3D printer, then it is a very very good copy, and it looks like the most beautiful shaver I have, whether it works or it doesn't work. So it is what it is. I guess I got fooled. But as I said, it's kind of a funny story. And it kind of makes you look inside and say, you know what? Sometimes we purchase these things and we have other bills to pay. Like I could have paid, that could have been $100 worth because both things kind of didn't work. I could have paid for that much promotion for my podcast. You know what I mean? But here I am buying things that don't work. I have a bag full of shavers that don't work now. But the good thing is, each shaver probably cost me the amount it would be for 2 haircuts to pay for. So the way I see it, I was able to cut my hair whenever I want, which sometimes would be every week, at my leisure. Over my lifetime, I learned a new skill. My manual dexterity is probably better because I do cut my own hair and I have to do it in reverse with a mirror, which I learned to do, which was hard, I would honestly say, for the first year. For me, anyway. But I learned. So anyway, that's just a little story of I don't know how long Kijiji is really going to be around for, to tell you the truth. I think Facebook Marketplace probably has it beat by now because in most cases, you pretty much have to be a real normal, maybe not normal, but you have to be an actual person. I mean, you can, I guess, develop a whole persona and you can go on Marketplace, but people tend to look at pictures and see what you look like. And, if you look like a seedy character, they probably won't even buy it from you off of Facebook Marketplace. But Kijiji, you could just be anybody. You could literally be a bot and just not show up, I guess, or whatever it is, or get bad marks, but whatever, you know what I mean? So yeah, I just wanted to go over a few different things. This show, I guess it's a show. This podcast is generally evergreen, but I'm going to talk about a few things. It's just kind of funny. It's one of those days where I guess you can mark it. It's Friday, January 17th, 2025. And I generally don't like that because I guess I think of myself when I click on a podcast and it has a date of like 10 years ago. I'm just like, this person's giving me 10-year-old information. Like all those specific Stephen A. Smith, Shannon Sharp, Joe Budden, Joe Rogan type deals where they're basically just talking about current affairs. I mean, they do get resurrected from time to time, but that's probably like 1 out of every 5 episodes might have a 3-minute clip of something that people have to go back to and might reference and might make it even more famous than it ever was. But in general, those, they're just kind of old information. I mean, a good example of that would be Lamar Jackson. The people, how they thought he was going to be as a prospect football player, and people wanted him to change his position. People said that he probably won't get signed unless he signs off on changing his position to wide receiver. He refused to do the 40-yard dash. He, instead of going where he probably should have been top 5, he ended up 32nd in the draft. And he was like, you see him there with his mom just losing his mind every time somebody else gets picked in front of him. and he had a big chip on his shoulder. And he, funny enough, was speaking to Deion Sanders. He was the one who kind of welcomed him to the NBA kind of conversation with TV as an official member on a team. And he says, you know what, I don't know, but they're gonna get a super. He doesn't know, like, he's just happy he's here. And he says that they're gonna get a Super Bowl out of him. And he's been to now an AFC championship. And tomorrow, I don't know what's going to happen, but he is going to be facing the Buffalo Bills, who I would normally go for, who I used to go through all those beatings in the, in 1994, 1990 era there. It was like 4 years they went to the Super Bowl and lost each time, or whatever it was. It was just horrible. So usually I would go for Buffalo, because Buffalo is the closest city to Toronto that has a team. That would be my usual go-to, but it's going to be Lamar Jackson versus man, sorry, versus Allen. And I wonder if I have it here, what I wrote. Nope, I don't think I got it. Let's see. Oh, here we go. I do have it. So I just wrote a little ditty. That's a funny word nowadays. I don't know if you got off by the time you're listening to this, but it's funny now to say the word ditty. Didn't he? All right. I'm just gonna say a little spiel. All right, let me put it to you like this. Lamar Jackson, and remember, this is my writing. I wrote this, okay, just in case. Lamar Jackson is like that guy who walks into a fancy gala wearing sneakers and still steals the show. People can't handle it because he doesn't fit their mold. Let's be real. The dude's a full black quarterback, and I mean, nobody's really full black. Most black people from the West Indies and some of the different islands have some brown, native, black, or whatever. Just there's some mix somewhere. Somebody. It's like hardly anybody is straight up black. But that's just what I know. Okay, so anyhow, like I said, let's be real. The dude is a full black quarterback in a league that's been measuring greatness with the ruler designed for people like Tom Brady. That already makes people, folks, clutch their pearls, I guess. And yeah, his speech. Some people hear it and say, oh, he sounds a little rough around the edges. Nah, he just doesn't sound like your local weatherman, and somehow that's a problem. And what's the criticism about his shiesties? He's always wearing his shiesties over his face. You can barely see his face at all. You see a little mustache and his eyes and his lips, and that's his conversation most of the time. I mean, I know it's been cold, it's winter, but and apparently he's a Florida boy, so that might say something as well. He plays in Baltimore, so he's probably always cold. Since when does clear skin throw a touchdown? People act like he's auditioning for skincare commercial instead of breaking ankles on the field. Bottom line, if you put Lamar in the same system as Brady with all the pampering and protection, he'd be out there winning rings and making it look easy. And let's not forget Patrick Mahomes. He's doing his thing, of course, but let's keep it 100. Mahomes can't do what Lamar does. Mahomes, now they might have faster processors, who knows, in their brain, who knows? So maybe they might be able to just have just the decision making, who knows? I know, he is pretty risque when it comes to, moving back up and down the pocket. But, Mahomes is like a Ferrari, smooth, flashy, gets you to where you're going fast. Jackson, he's like a custom built monster truck. Even though he's not that big, smashing over defenses, running like he's got cops on his heels, and making it look fun while he does it. More fun than any other quarterback, guaranteed. He doesn't run like some polished sprinter like a Metcalf or Derrick Henry. He runs like he's late for something important. And maybe he, grabs a chain on his way to where he's going, but, whatever works, right? The real question isn't whether Lamar is your typical quarterback. He's definitely not. And thank God for that. The question is, how many of these doubters are going to have to eat their words when he's all done? Writing the rule book, writing the record books. Lamar has been unconventional since day one. That's exactly what makes him special. And you know what? I think I'm right about Lamar. You know what I mean? But if I'm not, it is what it is. I said what I said. So yeah, this weekend he is going to face Josh Allen, in the division championship. And I think he should do well. But if nerves don't take over or something weird doesn't happen, I can honestly say, and the funny thing is I was right about Rachel Nichols. I knew she'd be back after getting booted off that show. I think it was because of Malika Andrews. I can't remember. But I knew that she'd get back on a show, which she did. Westbrook, Russell Westbrook, I was always saying that the Lakers should have kept him, which they did for the year that I said that. And then eventually he got booted. And then he went to, I can't even remember where he went, but he went to a couple stops where he did very well and brought up his stock back into the game. And I was right about TikTok. I said the days are numbered. And, as we speak right now, as of January 16th, China was supposed to do something, and apparently they didn't. And the U.S. is thinking of boycotting it, which is making them in China very upset. So anyway, back to Lamar. I'm just going to say it straight. I hope it doesn't happen. And you know this. But I think the only thing that might take him out, because he's still young. What is he, 26, 27? Wait, he's 27? The way he got hit in the game against the Steelers last week, and the way his back was hurt. If you ever look at the game, you just look it up and say, wild card game, Ravens versus Steelers. And if you can find the video of when he gets tackled and kind of hurts his back. And to be honest, it didn't even look like that bad of a hit. But he did get slammed down a couple of good times. I saw him on the different angles, the angles that you don't usually see during the game. And the way he got slammed down at one point, I was like, I don't know if he can take a really big hit. So I'm thinking, chances are, which has happened before with him, he's probably, a leg injury is probably going to take him out. And it might be sooner than later. So I hope he really does get, what he needs to get done, get it done. He was I think 30 pounds heavier than he is right now. He's taking a lot of hits, and he seems like his body shape seems like if he gets hit really well, that it's probably going to develop into a nagging injury, which, it happens to pretty much everybody, in football. Eventually something is going to be some type of a battle of attrition on your body, and eventually your body just won't be able to respond in the same ways. It's just whether or not it's going to be one of your important body parts that get you from A to B. So whether it's, flat out speed, an Achilles, or, a knee, or, just the agility. So the tendons, and, you never know. If it's like constantly bruised rib, well, he could probably deal, with enough Kevlar padding and just not getting hit in that certain area, learning how to get hit and protecting that area. You know what I mean? He could probably still go. But if it's one of those things where he gets it on the legs, I don't know. But there's not much that can stop him. So right now we're at the point where we're just wondering whether or not he can um, beat Josh Allen and if he can win the MVP. I know they say all the votes are supposedly in from the 6th, I think, of the month, but I believe that things will swing depending on what this game says, especially because DEI right now in the United States is still a big push. So, yeah. So now that I've burnt most of the time on this this episode and I didn't even get to the point, let's see. I don't know if I want to rush through these, but I think I have a tendency right now to kind of rush through these questions, which I don't really want to do. But I did want to have a not so evergreen time this time, but I think that I'll still go back since I did say I would do it. But at least these answers will be probably pretty short and sweet, most likely. Why do you think people take tomorrow for granted, even when life constantly reminds us that nothing is guaranteed? I think it's just the ignorance of people. I think, for some reason we don't really know. Like, we think we're going to live forever, even though you're alive. Well, what's going to prevent us from being alive tomorrow? Because we've never known anything else but being alive. So it's almost like death doesn't seem real. And then therefore people act like they have forever. It's sad because I think, if it was our last day and we were able to look back and, all the things that we did or didn't do, most of us would probably do more than 50% of our life in another way. Second question. Do you believe the shrinking dating pool is real and a real issue? Or is it just people are more selective now? I think they're less selective in their short-term trysts and very, very, very extra selective or unrealistic in their long-term goal, relationships, i.e. marriage. And it's sad because I think there's going to be so many people who are going to be sorry. You live and you die. And when you come to the end of your life and, things aren't going exactly how you would have liked them to go, and you realize that you're at death's door, I think you might do things a little bit different than you're doing it in reality. And therefore, I think people should really look at this whole situation of them, booting people out of relationships, out of not giving someone a chance to change or learning how to forgive and not be bitter, accepting, who you're with and all those different things that come with marriage. I think if people were really more realistic with their lives, it would help them out, because one day you're going to be like half out of your mind realizing all the stuff that's happening, or you'll be in a situation where everything is just all of a sudden changed and you got a terminal illness and there's so many things that you can't do even if you want to do. Even if you're alive, it's like you're a living dead person. Some of these illnesses are like that. And then they'll be like, why didn't I do this? Why didn't I do that? Why didn't I just stay? Wasn't it better? Like, so many different things that people are going to be questioning themselves about, and it's sad. 3. How do you personally cope with uncertainty in life, especially as you grow older? Sadly, or maybe inevitably, I, looked at the passing of siblings and parents, and I realized, yes, we all gotta go sometime, and there'll be one day where you will be giving somebody a lecture or having a nice conversation for the last time. Either it's before you pass or after, and it's like the people left back here know, as you see more and more pass, that it is a reality, and there is a certain level of finality to it, although we will live on in eternity. But right now, for what we know is all we know is knowing. We don't know not knowing unless we're sleeping. But we eventually wake up each time. So people just don't realize what they're going into, what's going to happen. And I try to because I realize that I have the tendency to be like a normal person and just say, well, tomorrow's another day. I guess only when, you start having these different experiences or start losing people as an experience where you slowly but surely pick off your reality, realizing that your goodness could be outdoor and you're just over. Yeah, so that's how I feel about that. Here's another question, just random. That's why this is evergreen. Hold on a sec. Ain't nothing like great freshen up button. Why do you think there's so much resistance to people standing up for their own cultures or personal beliefs? Well, I wouldn't say that in every case. It's funny enough. What's his name? Trump takes office for his second term in 2 days as I'm making this podcast, and I don't know what the relevance is. Maybe there's gonna be there has to be some relevance to this podcast, even if I'm totally wrong about a couple things. But for a while, anyways. But yeah, Trump's about to take office, and he's made people already start looking at things a little bit differently. Things that he says he's going to do. It's going to be all hell will break loose in the Middle East if the hostages are not let go. And just the little funny things he's doing, like picking certain actors to be ambassadors to Hollywood. And there was a huge fire and everybody's wondering what the heck's going on. And the mayor of LA, what's his name? Gavin Newsom or whatever. He needs to quit because he's done a horrible job. And Canadians looking all that at all the stuff that the circus that has been the United States for the past 3 or 4 or 5 years since Trump left office and COVID times and all that stuff, it's just been really weird. And the whole time it's like, most of us in Canada pay attention to most of the stuff happening in the United States more than, like, we just don't feel nothing's happening there. There's all the action over there. There's more people doing nonsense over there, funny things and good things and bad things and cool things. So we can't help but be looking over here at the grass on the other side, still feeling that our grass is pretty much greener and healthier. But it is nice to see a burnout here and there on a clean lawn, I guess. I don't know. Means you're trying, but things don't always work out. I don't know if that makes any sense to anybody else listening. Have you ever felt alienated from your own affinity group because of societal narratives? Yeah, for sure. Up here in Canada, there's a lot of people of ancestry that's been here longer than most others, but not longer than all. If you can obviously get what I mean. Who feel that they have lost the ability, the right to celebrate, say, Christmas or Christian holidays. But the funny thing is, these same people who are arguing for that right are not really arguing that right, really just muttering behind closed doors. And there is a lot of them, a lot more than you'd think there would be. They don't realize that. Well, it's just kind of interesting because, they all believe that, things should be different, but they're the most of their culture is the one that's ushering in these differences of change. And what I was I'm not gonna really get into that too much, but what I was trying to say is that one time I was in a conversation where I was giving a difference of opinion on, the things that affected me as a black kid growing up, not rich, which I probably should have stated, or should have said I wasn't middle class or whatever. I don't even know. Maybe I was middle class for poor people. I don't know. But both my parents worked. I was a latchkey kid for most of my life, but I had so many siblings that there wasn't much latching to the keys because the door is usually open. um, but I know sometimes when I give my experience, and I know that like where I grew up, the most of the kids' experience would have been pretty close, and the world wasn't so big but small back then. So a lot of the things that I would do, say in Toronto, the same people be doing the same thing from the same culture in Kingston or Kitchener or wherever they live. So there wasn't a lot of different choices, kind of like television stations, right? It's either, if you look back in the day, you could say, did you watch Tom and Jerry? Most people would say yes. If they said, did you watch Looney Tunes? They'll say yes. Did you watch the Flintstones? Yes. And there wasn't that much more. I mean, the Jetsons and like just a couple here and there. But we pretty much all watched Wild World of Sports or Wild World of Disney or whatever it is on a Sunday night. Now, although we see everything that everybody's doing everywhere, there is so much more variety. So when I give an answer of a certain way in a conversation, this person seemed to argue against how I should think, or telling me that maybe the rest of my culture, the rest of my affinity group don't see things the same way. And that's the way she justified saying that I was pretty much wrong. And it was just crazy. And it just seems like that's the world we live in now. You can't really come up with your beliefs. The people who say they believe in Christmas are not believing in Christmas as in a star, shining in the night will bring him frankincense and myrrh, and Jesus and Joseph and Mary and the little drummer boy, or the magi, the wise men. They're looking at it a total different way. And when they hear you say stuff Christianity wise, they kind of go silent and pretend you didn't say anything and go on with whatever it is they were saying. It's really a strange place to be, a real weird conversation to behold or to be a part of. Someone who is just saying whatever. I agree with you, but I don't really affirm any of that you're saying. It's just kind of weird. It's just kind of weird. That's honestly the best way I can put it. How can people navigate today's cultural chaos without feeling like they're betraying themselves? It's really difficult. I think if you're not honest, you're gonna feel like you betrayed yourself or betrayed somebody. And it's just very difficult because there's a lot more and more people who are even of your culture who don't agree with Judeo-Christian type of solutions for the planet. From carbon taxing to fossil fuels and environmental talk, and don't use helium in your balloons, or don't use balloons, latex, and it's crazy, I feel. All right, why does it seem like both young and old generations are tired of searching for meaningful connection? Because of social media. You could literally get on a feed and just go down and down and down deeper into some twisted reality of information or short videos, situations and stuff on any of these platforms now, where it's like a lot of the interaction that you used to have before, you don't have it. Most people have one or two or four screens in their face at any time of the day, and just taking in more information and more information. Is most of it's getting all garbled up because it's just too much information, I believe, to process and to use. I mean, you can't really say you really understand information until you've really been in it, like had some type of interaction with it. People just can't tell you about the color blue and all the different things about the color blue, and maybe they tell you about everything about a Honda engine, and then go over to what's the finer points of making a hockey stick, or the best way to defeat a 9-sided Rubik's Cube or something, like just whatever it is, and give you all this information. And then at no time do you try Rubik's Cube. At no time do you actually see the different colors of blue. It's just something abstract. I think that kind of information disappears unless you're a very, very special person and you just, have some sort of useless information wardrobe in the back end recesses of your mind or something like that. I think it's just useless. So much information, we don't know things that we think we know. We just have information about, and it's sad. And I know I say that a lot, but it is what it is. Maybe that's my saying. It's sad. Do you think technology has made finding a mate easier or harder? It seems like it's made it easier in the short term, but harder because of what you'll go through because of the short term in the long run. Hopefully you understand what I mean there. But people are gonna have interaction after interaction after interaction after interaction, and there's gonna be times when they probably should have settled, but they don't, because they know there's other fish in the sea, and they saw somebody else's picture, and somebody else seems like they might just be 3 inches taller, and this person looks like they might be skinnier and not fat in 5 years, and it's just the different scenarios go on in your head, sometimes clouding the information that you have to help you to make a meaningful right decision in your present, because of what is or what could be. The burden to be of those that were be. What was I don't know what the heck that was. I should look it up, but it's just the dumbest thing. What has been burdened is something. Anyways. I can't even remember the saying. It just in the memory of it, it just sounds so funny. What advice would you give to someone who feels like giving up on finding a partner? I would say never give up. You never know when things could turn around for you. If you want somebody, look for somebody. You never know when things might work out for you. So if you give up, then I don't know if you're telling your story properly. At least later you can say, well, I tried this and I tried that and it never worked out for me. I'm obviously laughing because I'm trying to find this saying. I don't know if I'm gonna find it though. Oh, here we go. Vice President Kamala Harris, and this was 2024. Vice President Kamala Harris has frequently used the phrase, "What can be unburdened by what has been." Oh my gosh. Let me say that again. What can be unburdened by what has been? What the hell? Anyhow, I'm just gonna move on, but I mean that it is what it is. Oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man. But don't give up. You never know. And if you give up, let it be that you give up thinking about it. Let it be you give up trying so hard. Let it be that you've decided just to focus on what you like and what you believe and what you know and what you know to be true. And I think that you might be surprised what things come back around for you. What opportunities and what doors open. Last question. What lessons about life and connection did your Kijiji experience teach you today? It didn't teach me much, to be honest with you. It just taught me a lesson. It must have came in my mind at least 4 or 5 times, and it usually hasn't. But I mean, I guess because I usually haven't gone through it, I just lightly. It wasn't like screaming at me in my self, but it said, if something is or looks too good to be true, it probably is. So mind yourself when you're making your choices in whatever the choices that you're making. If the price seems too easy, chances are you get what you pay for. So if it's something really, really good, it's probably going to cost you a little bit. You know, a little bit of process, a little bit of pain, a little bit of time, a little bit of money. Life is uncertain. It doesn't mean that life is hopeless. Whether it's finding love, standing up for what you believe, or navigating cultural chaos, the key is to stay grounded in what and who you are. Society might tell you to follow the narrative, to conform, to stay quiet, but there's strength in staying true to your values, to the values you know and understand. Life may be unpredictable, but that's what makes it worth living. So keep pushing forward. But remember, Jesus is the only way to the Almighty God, not Muhammad. We're not looking for another Messiah. He's already come. He is already in those who believe, and he's coming back again for those. That is reality. Jesus is the only one that said he is the only way. The truth and the life. And no one comes to the Father but by me, Jesus said. Look it up, because I know people think there's some flexible way of being a Christian, and it isn't. You're either a Christian or you're not. If you're a Bible-believing Christian, you're a Christian. Period. You're just a Christian, a follower of Jesus. You are a disciple. Jesus is in you and you are in him, in the Spirit. Anyhow, keep searching and remember, the story you write in your life, no matter what others have to say, is your story. Anyhow, I'm MCM. Take care. See you next time. Oh yeah, before I go, remember, if you have any questions you want to ask, or maybe you have a topic that you want me to talk about, you can email me at yprpodcast@gmail.com. Take care. Hey, come check out You Probably Right podcast. Society is getting more unpredictable every day, but at the same time, predictable in its unpredictability. Say that 4 times real fast. Come with me as I attempt to find clarity in all the fog while staying way outside the box and kicking the box way down the road with my size 12 ducks. I use the Bible, experience, education, fortune, misfortune, life's lessons, life's mistakes to sort through all the mess. I talk about news, God, God, self-help, sports, sickness, health, music, parenting, love, humbleness, hurt, pain, joy, and all the things that might make you say, I never thought of it that way. Hopefully, anyway. Also, I take a stab at answering tough and not so tough questions, and all the while understand that, listen, sometimes you end up in the hot seat and there's no thermostat. Well, that's how it is here. And because there's no topic, very few topics off the table, Torontonians will understand that Doug Ford reference there. Hopefully the podcast will be helpful and uplifting. And hey, maybe you'll find your own private Idaho here somewhere. Hope to see you soon.